just go for a reset up
I
against
think
Nexplay.
that the mine might be at a little time low. Reason why, when you lose after a backdoor like that, if you guys join late and you missed that, you just missed potentially one of the best plays of the entire tournament. Go back on the stream and check it out. I recommend you. You're not going to be regretting it. Like, when you get backdoored like that and you already played 4 games in a row, I think that slowly but surely, like, the mentality, the mindset's starting to be at an all-time low. And Chakaimook, you know, we got to give a lot of respect to this team. They took down DR Esports on the first day. Then they took down also Sengoku Gaming, which is a team that I thought were going to go straight to the finals. So Chakaimook, they are still a team that has been proven to be able to pull some really big matches. They even took a game off of Omega Esports, which is no small feat to achieve. And they were almost getting a comeback on that final game. So I think that Chakaimook has already proven that they are a strong and talented team. And I think that, an extra few games is not going to hurt them that heavily. So hopefully the mindset won't hurt them too much. But I do believe that they can still take the series up against Nexplay. But then talking about Nexplay, they took down 16-bit Gear. That was a team that I was potentially expecting to go straight to the finals too. Like, there's so many talented teams. The next player has been this newcomer that has just been rising up to the occasion. And if you ask me in this matchup, Chakaimook versus Nexplay, who do you think is going to win? I'm going to say I have no goddamn clue. I have no idea, because these two teams are just so damn good that I'm just going to have to wait and base it onto the draft and base on what happens in game 1. But now we're going to be focusing on the draft itself. Lee Sin and Shyvana both going to be taken off the table, while Kali will be the first pickup of Nexplay Esports. Show me that they do want to maybe go for some of a dive aggressive composition, but on the other side, it's going to be the Wombo combo once again of Brawl and Misfortune, which is a very popular combo. And I believe, Kaisai, you brought up earlier to me that actually Misfortune is the most picked character almost in the game, right?
Yes, she is, and she is still having, not only getting picked a lot of times, but also she got a good win rate, given that 53 picks, well, from yesterday's data. So having that win rate of 64 as well. So there's no wonder that she is actually getting prioritized on this one. But to start, there's still a lot of options to actually match her one up, and it's super important as well that you know who you're gonna be circling this Misfortune with. So Braum is fine, definitely, and there's still a lot of options since we're still on round 1. And yeah, I just want to go back on that part when you were talking about how strong these two teams are. And I do agree that both of them must be respected. I mean, there's a reason why Chakaimook actually was standing up in there in the upper bracket. And at the same time, Nexplay Esports managing a lot of teams in the lower bracket as well. But, you know, if we set aside the fatigue that might still be present on the side of Chakaimook, they're both strong. So it's totally understandable why you also said, okay, I'm totally clueless who's going to take the win. It's definitely going to be depending on how they're going to be executing the play. But to give our audience a little bit of trivia on what has happened between these two so far in the totality of Wild Rift Asia Brawl, they already met during the open qualifiers. So it was Chakaimook beating up Nexplay Esports from Group A qualifiers. So it was a total swipe win by Chakaimook, getting that 5-0 score up against the rest of the teams that was part of the open qualifiers. But Nexplay Esports made a comeback up against Chakaimook during the group stage. So you saw the difference. So they have been answering from one point to another, and now it is a question of whether who's gonna take it again here during the playoffs. So yeah, meantime though, something really interesting we can see in the draft of Nexplay. This is a Lulu Jinx combo you can see there, my friend.
They're going for some big drafts with the sort of Nexplay. And also I think that they know that, like, Chakaimook, they're traumatized after that Olaf Lulu game that they had early in their BA5, and they were like, oh no, Chakaimook gonna have to deal with that one once again. So a little bit unfortunate. But wait, yeah. No, they're not going to go for Yasuo. No way. I mean, Yasuo can combo with a Braum ultimate, but that's the only ability you can combo it with. You also got a little buff CC can potentially combo with on the Jarvan, I do believe. But, like, I don't believe Yasuo would be that good of a pickup. Now, that sounds like something a little bit better. Gragas, I fully agree with. It's got great follow-up with the likes of the Jarvan, the Garen, and also the Braum, while still on the back line. You do have that strong Misfortune, but I think a Mage might be a little bit better, but they are indeed going to commit over with the Gragas. Orianna, in my opinion, would have been the better pick. Orianna, Jarvan, it's a really strong composition, but I think they might want to keep Orianna for a later date, because here they're going up against such a strong and solid composition. Olaf, Lulu, Jinx coming on through. I don't think they want to waste, I would say, an Orianna super early on, where you're against a draft that tends to win more than they tend to lose.
That's for sure. Now we're just setting things up in the lobby, and I think the reason why we can see Jarvan early on in the game as well is because it seems like they want to reserve something later on. They can make this work though. It's not for the fact that okay, we're gonna be pick Jarvan because we're willing to lose this game. Definitely not. As much as possible, you want to secure a win early on if you can, and if you actually won that game without having to make use of a meta hero or prio heroes that has been being picked here at the Asia Brawl, then you're in a good spot because you got a lot of reserves later on that are still part of the power picks in the current meta. But then again, what I'm scared about is even during the late game time, this is a scary Jinx later on that's just gonna go excited and maybe even gonna get the wild growth from the Lulu. So I think Chakaimook must be very careful on that one. Still gotta respect what the capability of that Jinx in the late game. But I think early game time, if Chakaimook is actually able to give that power spike onto both the Gragas as well, Fortune, they definitely still has some say into stopping that late game potential of the Jinx. But it's easier said than done. Let's just see how they're gonna theirs.
Wow, Cindy, I just cracked my knuckles and I didn't think my mic would pick it up. It actually did pick up my knuckle crack, so that was weird. But anyways,
I didn't
diving
hear it,
in.
so it's
it did pick up for a second. I was like, oh man, that actually did way more noise than I thought. But going into this one, of course, you know, we do have to also set the pace, set the scene. If you guys join up late, we also find the finals of the loser bracket. Whichever one of these two teams of Nexplay, Esports, or Chakaimook take the win, will be going into the finals versus Omega Esports for BO7. Yes, not BO3, not BO5, but BO7 for the finals happening tomorrow. So they'll be facing up against that team. So it might be Chakaimook or Nexplay facing up against that deadly team. And whichever team loses, unfortunately, will be out, but still will be able to flex. They are indeed in third position. So here we go. The drafts are set. I'm not going to ask you which one because I think we've both had an L last time, so I'm not going to ask which draft you think is better. But we'll be taking a cool game into this one. But also, I'd love to know in the chat because I think it's cool to have some Trovo chat interaction with all you Trovers out there. Tell us in the chat which team you guys think will be winning this first game. Do you think it will be Nexplay or do you think it will be Chakaimook? I would love to have your interaction in the chat so we can create a little bit of a bond with you guys over there.
I think for me though, they both got a good win condition. If I just gotta choose one, I'm leaning toward more on the side of Nexplay. Primarily, again, because of the Lulu Jinx combo, they don't really worries on the late game time. What more? Actually able to empower the early. For the meantime, that is a first blood onto the Akali. While I was talking about what my prediction is, but yeah, wow. I mean, he got caught off guard on that one. And I was talking about, okay, what could be the win condition for CKM? You empower the Misfortune. And Misfortune getting an assist, well, unfortunately, that actually went to the Brawl. It could have been better if it's the Misfortune. But then again, I mean, that was the first side. So better than nothing. And actually, it's a good start.
Yeah, it was a little bit deep, you know, still first blood coming the way of Chakaimook, so they're going to be pretty happy champion about that one. Was already 500 extra gold up their sleeve, though. Got to be careful, because so far you're going to be seeing the rotation. Jarvan was in the bush, going to try and flash away. He's going to be taking 2 tower shots. Might go... Oh, no! He survived. Oh, I take it back. He does not survive.
He did not survive. It looks like there are going to be 3 casualties on the side. Team Chakaimook totally disrespecting the death timers that are not that much present as of yet on the side of Nexplay. So yes, they did get the first blood away from Nexplay Esports, but man, those are 3 kills they just gave early on to empower the Jinx at the stage in the game. Oh man.
Oh. Man, I'm liking this so far already. 3-1 in favor of Nexplay. And I'm seeing also in the Trovo chat a lot of people saying Nexplay. They thought Nexplay was going to be winning that one. So you know what? Seems like the chat has decided and has sliced down the cake. Let's see if there's going to be the good or the bad part, though. We're going to have a nice replay coming on through all that fight happening in the top side of the map, as that was a great pickup initially coming out to the Jarvan. Unfortunately, he could not make his way through. The flash through the tower was... nice attempt, unfortunately a respectable one, but not an efficient one, as he did go down initially. But also Gragas in his lane matchup versus Zed, like, he can win that one pretty dominantly, because also Zed, if he goes for the ult engage, then Gragas can just bump in, like, go for the body slam and be good to go.
That's for sure. And now in here, they're just gonna be buying their own time into going back onto their very own lane, but CKM JK though must be very careful on the top side because the Olaf can actually help on sandwiching this guy. Gotta go for the flash under the turrets, gotta go safe. At least they popped the ultimate coming from that Olaf though.
Why?
So...
Why? He's against Garen. He's got nothing to do. He's like, I don't want to get stunned by Garen. Wait a second, he doesn't have a stun. That was not really necessary, but seemed like dive V2, giving it another shot on Garen.
We see that fight ongoing on the top side right now. 2v2 situation. We can see even a backup incoming from that Jarvan Shiba. Looks like he's down the second time in this game. This is looking bad for Chakaimook, and I don't know what Greg is in here. He's gonna go for that kill, double kill indeed, but he is totally fine. I mean, he's fine with giving away that flow of minion waves towards the top side, and he's able to answer back anyway. 5-3 score in terms of kill score, but if we take a look at what's happening in the bot side part of though, look at that. I mean, there's a lot of pressure coming up from the Misfortune, and we about the how fast can clear this marksman ADCs we got in the game. Definitely the Misfortune got an upper advantage because you have to wait for the TPS to come through that Jinx before he can match up into sometime mid to late game.
I mean, the thing is also, like, early game, Misfortune is in a really good spot with Bromchi on her side, mainly because that Ricochet ability is just so damn good. The range is insane. Damage that comes out is pretty insane. It's very low cooldown, and his also the mana cost is not all that insane. So, pretty much, like, you are asking with a Misfortune in the laning stage to dominate the early game. If they can do so, they should be good. But they're going for Drake, while in the top side, we're going to have one kill on top of the Akali.
Yeah, actually, that was a one-for-one trade. Everyone's just going aggressive for some unreasonable thing, but for the meantime, anyway, this is a contest on the side of NXP. So I think taking the dragon and at the same time taking a kill, despite a Ryzen dying on the top side, is still much more good profit for the side of Nexplay. In the middle lane, though, you just see that Gragas getting bullied by Chuli in the middle lane. Chuli was actually less than life, so it's kind of risky play, but you know, sometimes you'll never know if you're not really.
Oh, your voice cut. What?
Am I still here?
Oh, yeah, there. Like, your voice cut at the end. I didn't know if you were done, but you know what? Got a fight, so that's going to be for you again.
Alright, a team fight happening in here. Off team Chakaimook, because of the moment, lots of members from the side of NXP actually going solo, but backup coming from Julie, but they're not going to be sitting on that one since that's 4 members we're talking about from the side of Chakaimook. So lots of answers, 7-6. We can't say. I mean, we almost saw that lead from the side of NXP, but sometimes they go for display when they should have not done anymore. Like, okay, they tried to go for it, or maybe they just got caught up. Meantime, on the top side, you can see that Garen is getting punished by a Ryzen right under the very own turret, but he has to be very careful because the backup in here, or the answer in here, coming from the Misfortune, slowing him down would make it rain. Gotta go for that dive. Well, thanks to the protection coming from the Brawl. But everyone's just currently just scattered in here as of the moment. Ultimate coming out from that Olaf though, gonna take down that Misfortune as well. Brawl can't do anything but just hide under the turret as well. But the position for the Rift Herald is in the hands of Nexplay Esports.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice, easy Herald pickup, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. Unfortunately, Garen was not there to back up the fight, so that made matters really, really bad for them. And Herald is indeed going to get picked up by the Olaf. Now, the question is, what are they going to do with this Herald push? Of course, normally you want to try and crack open the first mid lane turret, as I always say. Yes, I know I say it every single time, but because it is that important. And I'm intrigued to see if they're going to try and potentially use it for that, or if they just want to try and use it as a point of pressure. Once the Drake tends to respawn, you've got so many different ways to use Herald. I want to see how Nexplay are going to try and use it, but seeing how they have such an emphasis and focus on taking jungle objectives, I would not be surprised to see them use it pretty late in the time of that Herald overall. But now a lot of players are going to regroup in the mid lane for the Chakaimook. Seems like they're somewhat maybe preparing for Herald push to be like, okay, we want to make sure we don't lose this one, which could be happening pretty soon. But so far, this game is taking a little bit of a slow pace. Still, though, we have a 3.5 to 4k gold lead so far in favor of none other than Nexplay themselves. And they've been on a lead. They won their matchup early versus 16-bit, dominantly 3-0. And seems like they want to try and do another one as Misfortune is going to get dived up here.
Oh man, somehow there's already this jungle difference already. All of this wild in here, but they gotta be careful because the Gragas answer back and some of the members in here from but I mean they gotta deal with a lot of damage coming out from who's in here being empowered by disaster. He's gonna fall down. I mean this Gragas is Davis teammate. You can see 4-2-1 score for him so far, but unfortunately though this turret is gonna fall down. So in the end, I mean that is also some map created for a Nexplay Esports, but despite we can see this number going in favor in terms of gold for the side of Nexplay, somehow we can still say that okay, Chakaimook can still answer back, but they are when team fights happens, they're just not in a good position. I mean they are scattered and it seems like they're not organized. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just thinking, how did those 3 players survive in the tower there? I was like, there's no way they're going to survive. And then they pick up 2 kills right after. Sure, they lose the turret, but like, that's so impressive. But now we're going to have the fight over the Cloud Drake into the pit. As the Jarvan is going to go for the engage.
Yes, they're going to go all out in here. But look at it. That Blaze just targeting, focus firing onto the Misfortune, and this is the perfect play that you're gonna be looking for from Nexplay Esports. That's almost a wipe out, and Gragas in here. I don't think he can do anything unless the members from the side of Nexplay Esports are gonna be throwing themselves in here under the turret in the mid. But then again, man, that was a 4-man wipe out. Gonna give more gold, 7k gold lead so far onto the hands of Nexplay Esports. I think the turret is gonna go down anytime soon unless there's a miracle that would happen in here as the backup comes through from the Misfortune. And yes, they're gonna be saving this turret one up, but they'll lose a turret up top.
I mean, Nexplay just pulled that one off perfectly. You remember the game we had earlier where it was actually the Camille that was stole away the Drake? Sorry, not the Drake, the Baron. Just a few games ago, and actually this is how you avoid that happening. You bait the fight by forcing the objective on the Drake, then the moment they try and get too close, you catch them off guard and you reverse the fight, take the engage, and once the fight is taken, then go back to the Drake. That's how you do it. That's how I was expecting the Baron fight a few games ago to happen when the Camille stole it, and this is how you avoid that from happening. So overall, really well executed from Nexplay. They are shown once again that they are one of the best teams in the Eastern region as of yet. As I'm going to be having Harrison just getting a little bit deep there, a little bit split away. Almost got the farm to Garen, but Garen goes back to base as now Baron is spawned on the map. And whoever wins the next fight might be able to get himself a sweet Baron up their sleeve to make things even easier for them in the long run. But also, we did not talk heavily about the Herald push, actually, because I like the Herald push in the bot lane was really intriguing. And they were able to get themselves 1 extra turret off of it. But I think that overall, they got very little off of 1 Herald. I think they could have got way more, as Zed is looking for maybe a little bit more than he can actually chew. He's just going to be swooping away from that one, making sure he doesn't get caught off guard.
Yeah, for sure. But on the composition, basing on the composition of Team Nexplay Esports in here, you can see that both the Kali as well as Zed is starting to go on a prior push on the side lanes. And this is just the Lulu Jinx. Oh, but we talk about the getting laser coming from the Jarvan. But fortunately enough, though, he got a flash of it. And here the backup from the rest of the members of Nexplay Esports. They're gonna go all in, even on the turret of Team Chakaimook. Gonna go for that play from the Gragas, but it's not gonna help. Are you gonna give him a pen to the side? Okay, looks like they're fine with the Quadra, but that's looking so great for the side of Nexplay. And there's no questions asked. Of course, they have all the right to even start off this Baron.
I mean, 12k gold lead, like, in 11 minutes, slowly making our way to the 12-minute mark. Like, how do you come back from this? You just can't. Nexplay have already won this. I'm going to point it out. They are just so damn far ahead. They got 10 kill lead, which is not, like, insane. But, like, the conversion rate from kills to how much gold lead they currently have is just astonishing on its own. Well, Zed really likes to invade, though. He's just going solo. I mean, he is super slippery, so I can get it, but, like, he is going for that one. He's going to be ulting on top of the Gragas, but he's now caught up in a really bad spot.
Well, the Zed, what he's been doing in here, he's just got 1 FF in here. He just finds where
he got them all low.
The Misfortune is. Yeah, when he gets a FF onto Focus Fire onto the Misfortune, but how thought, because we talk about the bullet time connecting onto a lot of members inside of Nexplay Esports in here. Here we go with the Garen falling down as well. That shield from the Brawl will be able to do anything. Yes, it's gonna give some protection, but then again, that's a lot of damage we talk about. I mean, this is a Jinx, okay, for as long as She's fine. She already gets excited. First on, whether she gets a kill or an assist, she's definitely fine with it. And you gotta be careful with that one. But for the meantime, here we go with 2 fights happening in the map as of the moment. The Gragas are gonna be making use of that stasis enchant, but then again, it's just gonna fall down onto hands of the excited Jinx. As of the moment, lots of members on the side of Team Chakaimook just falling down one by one. I don't think the Jarvan, if he shows himself, can do anything about it.
So you remember a few minutes ago when I said 12,000 gold lead? Now it's 16,000. And they're actually looking for a little bit more now. So they are like they built up a lead and they're just increasing that lead all the time, which is usually what you do. You get a lead and you keep on increasing that lead without doing any mistakes. And so far, Nexplay have made 0 mistakes. They crack open the base in the mid lane. They got full control over the entirety of the map. They got the Baron push, like the Baron buff too. Like they got everything in their arsenal that they could potentially ask for. The next thing they want to go for is potentially this Mountain Drake. And then they're going to try and finish off the game. Their next focus should be Mountain Drake, force a fight if they come. If they don't, just get a Mountain Drake, then try and look for a fight, and then close the game after that. That is exactly how they should end it. And knowing how they tend to play, Nexplay are going to do exactly that in the seconds to go. But Zed, solo diving on top of this Gragas. A shield is going to be required to keep him alive. But man, this Zed, he does not give a damn. He's just invading every time. He's feeling like a tank, but no, he's squishy as hell, and yet feeling so confident.
This is where you want to make sure, before you go in, make sure you have a way to go. For the meantime, on the top side, we can see the 1v1 fight happened between the Akali as well as the Garen, with Garen falling down. And then again, a backup came in here from the Jarvan, but apparently will have to fall down with a backup that just came in from the side of Team Nexplay. Even that, Akali just securing that kill. Look at that, going wild! Jinx in here, gonna go for the killing spree as well. She's just so excited with the passive, just capitalizing on that one. And I think this is gonna be it anytime soon. I mean, that was an ace, man. So here we go. Congratulations to Nexplay Esports, just showing some dominance from that game.
I gotta say, I've been casting Wildrift for very little amount of time. And one team that's been always standing out to me is Nexplay. And I think that Nexplay currently are my favorite team when it comes down to Wildrift competitive right now. Like, they're just, like, especially if I want to talk about their players, like, Arisen is my favorite player currently. That guy is absolutely insane on any character he plays. But it's just the entire team has been playing really strongly. Their macro is really good. Their map awareness is really strong. Their team play is on point. Every single aspect of the game they touch upon, or they're just good at it, or they're just perfect at it. And there's nothing to do against that. And looking on the other side, sure, Chakaimook, they're still a really good team, but they still got things to improve on. And when you're going up against a team like Nexplay, they're just so good on every single point of the game. What can you do? Literally nothing. But also, like, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt also to Chakaimook, because we're looking at the draft, they got an Olaf, they got a Jinx, they got a Lulu. This is a deadly composition, but let's not forget that because of how the rule set is set up, they cannot play those characters again. So that's like 3 characters that are like on top of the current pick list on Wildrift that they cannot bring back into the game. So now they're going to have to go for slowly start going for some more unusual picks, which might allow Chakaimook to make a comeback and clean sweep their way back into the lead.